We're on page 16. Let's do a little reminder of ourselves, and then we'll get some colors involved. Unit circle always has a radius of 1. Okay, and then, you guys, so if these, notice I put the 3 special right triangles. Notice that they're all 30, 45, and 60 correspond to this first quadrant. So you guys, don't you agree in this, if I were to, and again, don't draw this yet. If I were to draw this triangle is signifying this triangle. You cool with that? So this would be my 30 degrees. What would be this radius all day or day? 1. Okay, so what I want everyone to do is let's go put 1 up here. What about this? Yeah, Beck's saying, well, isn't that's just right there? And that's going to be 1 as well. Agreed. And then what if I went to this blue triangle with a 60-degree angle? What would that be? Right, they're all going to be 1. Okay, so peeps, we're going to start with that. In a 30, 60, 90. Whoa, in a 30, 60, 90. If the hypotenuse is 1, what's the leg right across from the 30? Nice. He's saying, okay, wait. If I were to think back to a 30, 60, 90, it goes 2x, x root 3. This is my 30-degree angle. If my 1 is my x, we'd have to divide by 2. So this is going to be 1/2 over here. And then if x is 1/2, what's going to be this longer side across from the 60? Root 3 over 2, right? So you guys, that's huge. Could we use that same info over here?
No.
Yeah, on this guy? Because this is a 30, 60, 90.
No, not on the middle.
Oh, we're right. But this one's a 30, 60, 90. Yeah. So what would this leg be here? Across from the 30 is going to be the 1/2. Very good, Mateo. Across from the 60 is the root 3 over 2. What about with the 45? In a 45, 45, 90, the little shortcut goes x root 2. How would I go get this leg? Yeah, he's saying, okay, and you don't have to write this little thought process, you guys, but 1 is my x root 2 leg. So if I divided by root 2, Harville, I'd be left with 1 over root 2. What would I do to get rid of that square root down to the bottom? And get what? Beautiful. Root 2 over 2 is this leg and this leg. Okay, here's what I want to remind us of as well. Let's go ahead and put this triangle. You don't need to draw this. You don't need to draw this. You don't need to draw this. Check this out. To agree if this triangle is my 30, 60, 90, I just really need to put this info as that point. So how far right would I have gone? How far up would I go to get to that point? Right over 2, up 1/2. So this is going to be root 3 over 2, 1/2. Now, is there another triangle, or angle rather, that we could draw that also has, again, you don't need to draw this triangle part, a reference angle of 30? Any other degree that you see that would have the same size triangle? Ooh, would this one match, you guys? Yeah. And to get to this point, again, you don't need to draw the triangles. To get to this point, I would have gone left, then up. So what do you think that coordinate would be? He's saying, all right, it's got the same dimensions. I just need to go left. So I've got negative root 3 over 2. And then what? 1/2. I went up. Is there another angle that would have that same reference angle, same size? 210. If I have to go left, then down, what would it do to that coordinate? They'd both be negative. You guys so well said. Negative root 3 over 2, negative 1/2. And one last triangle. At 330, Mateo, I would have to go right, then down. So the point would now be what? Just my y would be negative. I'm going to get rid of my triangles colored. So you guys, do you agree that all of these basically had the same coordinate? All of them did. Except we just changed some negatives. So this rectangle of values, all matched. Okay. Mr. Ritzman said, hello. Don't we know these coordinates right off the bat? I agree. We could go throw these in, and maybe if you've got colors, you do a different color. What would this point over here be? This one right here? Perfect, right? 1, 0. How about above? 0, 1 to the left and down. You guys, I apologize about this formatting. I hate that I didn't hit enter. Now, let's back this up a smidge. Let's go back to this 45, 45, 90. Now, don't draw this on your page, but you agree this green triangle here is a 45, 45, 90. If it follows this exact same shape, how far right did I go? How far up did I go? Root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. So you guys, if I were you, I would just go in a different color. I'm going to go root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. What's another reference angle that has that same coordinate, do you think? That same size triangle. Say that again, Harville. 135 is 45 degrees away from 180. So I'm going to say root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. Which one's negative? The x. Very good. The first one. Another angle that will have a 45 degree reference angle. 225. What about those coordinates? Both negative because I'm going to the bottom left quadrant, left and down. Finally, 315, root 2 over 2, negative root 2 over 2. And then I'm going to take whatever color I just used. I'm going to go black personally, and I'm going to connect. Boom, boom, boom. All my 45 degrees. That's a perfect little square. You guys, we got one last one. What's going on here at 60 degrees? Does this 60 degree mark look like this cute little triangle here? Ooh, I got to change my colors. Let's go blue. Does it look like that one? Yeah. So how far right did I go? How far up did I go? Perfect, Mateo. He's saying 1/2 to the right, root 3 over 2. So I'm going to go, maybe I'll go green actually. I'm going to go 1/2 to the right, root 3 over 2 up. Beautiful, Mateo. Is that going to happen anywhere else? Cha! How far is 120 away from 180? Love it. He's saying left and up. Left and down. Right and down. Connectamundo, connectamundo, connectamundo. Here we go. You guys, you just built your unit circle. Correct me if I'm wrong, Biscuit Baby. As long as you know these three, we can just go boom, 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 and we'll know the others. You know what I'm saying? So I get that this is really daunting, but you guys follow those little rectangles and squares, and you really only have to memorize these three. Now, what does any of this mean? Let's remind ourselves what this, does anyone remember what the cosine is always asking for, the x or the y? The x, because it's not siny. The sine is the y. What about tangent? I should really get my pillow closer. Yeah. Yeah, it's the y over the x or the sine over the cosine. However we want to put it, y over x or the sine of theta over the cosine of theta. Both are perfect. So I'm often going to put these with blanks on a quiz or a test. I'm not going to give you points for them. I just think I've found for my students, it's convenient for them to be like, oh yeah, the cosine is the x coordinate, the sine is the y coordinate, just kind of lay it out so that they can reference it. What's the secant then? Perfect, Harville. He says secant is 1 over x. What's cosecant? 1 over y. Cotangent. Yeah, just flip it. X over y or cosine over sine. Here's the challenge, people. Can you do that again? Who? Can you do that again? Yeah. The fewer flips you do front and back, the better. Who cares? This is just the first day of it. If you need to go copy that over word for word, you're welcome to. Here's what I'll do. I'll leave my answer up here if you just want to kind of reference. But you guys, the practice on this is imperative. Then we'd have a negative, then a negative, and a positive, then a negative. Sometimes this helps me remember what signs go on what coordinates. Oh, wait. You guys, correct me if I'm wrong. This one, root 3 over 2, 1/2. Root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2, 1/2, root 2 over 2. Root 3 over 2. Whoo! You guys, is there a way to help us remember that? Check out this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Maybe Lily's like, oh, I wouldn't start on the Y's. I'd start on the X's. And Lily's more like 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Just an idea. Is every single thing divided by 2? Aren't they all divided by 2? Is every single thing, square rooted? But what's the square root of 1? Isn't the square root of 1 1? So could I go through and square root them all and be like, okay, well, the square root of 1 is just 1. Those are some shortcuts that I like to do. That really helps me get that first quadrant. Then as soon as I do that, I know that I can say, okay, then we got a little negative root 3 over 2, 1/2, negative root 3 over 2, negative 1/2, and root 3 over 2, negative 1/2. That helps me get the rest of them. But that's just a little shortcut. My pre-calc teacher showed me my first unit circle and goes, okay, great, memorize it. And I was like, huh? So I had to kind of come up with these strategies on my own, which is fine. But that's where my little 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1 came from. Mateo, you down with that? A little divide every single thing by 2? And then square root all of them? That helped me. And then I was just like, psh, 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 psh. Okay. You guys, what's the reminder that cosine is always the what? The cosine is the x. Sine is the? Sine over cosine is? And tangent could also be? Good. Look at you, read my mind, Mr. Harville, with what I was looking for there. Well done. So now, here's the question. This is what I'm really curious about. Can we find these different things for these different angles? Whew. Guys, 330 degrees. When they ask for the sine, they're really asking for the sine. They're really just asking for the y coordinate. My question is, what is the y coordinate at 330 degrees? You agree my y coordinate is negative 1/2. Done. When they say, hey, what's the cosine at that angle? They're just asking for the x coordinate. What was the x coordinate there? At 330, it's going to be root 3 over 2. Okay. What about the tangent at that same angle? What over what would we have to write? Y over x, sine gerene over cosine gerene. Let's write it all out. Let's not worry about simplifying it yet. Correct me if I'm wrong. It would be negative 1/2 over root 3 over 2. What are we going to cross out first? Boom, boom, says Mateo. What am I left with then, Mateo? Beautiful. And then you're like, she's the worst. We got to get rid of that square root. What would we do? Yep, final answer. Beautiful. Okay, peeps, if we've done this much, we just did sine, cosine, and tangent, which were y, x, and y over x. Which one's cosecant? Cosecant goes with sine. Ugh. So whatever you got for sine, we got to flip it. So -2. Mateo, loving it. Everything you're doing, perfect. What about the secant? Just flip it, then we'll get rid of it. 2 over root 3, you said. Final answer. Yeah, 2 root 3 over 3. Last one. Which one of these, the black, the blue, or the red answer, would we want to flip for cotangent?
Blue.
The blue is going to be the fastest. Do I really want to say root 3 over -1? Negative root 3. And if it takes you a step, root 3 over -1, that's just negative root 3. That's how I'd want it simplified. Okay. People, good job with that. Let's try 135. What's up? 135 degrees. What quadrant we at? 2. Oh. When they ask for the sine, they're asking for the x or the y. Sine y, which is root 2 over 2. What would the cosine be there? Same thing, just negated. Love it. Negative root 2 over 2. The tangent is the y over the x. You guys can write as many steps here as you want. But I've got root 2 over 2 divided by negative root 2 over 2. What's 8 divided by 8? What's pi divided by pi? So what do you think root 2 divided by root 2 is going to be?
-1.
Nice. In this case, it will have a negative with it because one of them was negative. Beautiful. Just like I wrote here, simplify all answers. We want to simplify them. How about cosecant? Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. So whatever you got for sine, just flip it. So we would have 2 over root 2. What do we need to do to that top and bottom? What are we going to get there? So many 2's. Psh, final answer. Beautiful. If I just did all that work for cosecant, and secant is the reciprocal of something very similar, what do you think my answer is going to be? Yeah, it's same thing, just negate it. Okay, how about this last one? Cotangent. We got to take the reciprocal of this hog. I said hog. Yeah, wouldn't this just be a -1 over 1? When I flip it, it'd be a 1 over a -1. 1 divided by -1, any number over itself is just 1. Keep it negative. Okay, this is my little prep before I do the puzzle. You can stay back there, Coop. What if I ask you what the tangent at 0 is? Tangent at 0 degrees. Tangent is y over x. With me, Tatum? Yes. Tangent at 0. What's my y over x? Careful, y over x. Wouldn't it be 0 over 1?
Oh, it's 0.
What's 0 divided by 1? 0. So when it says, hey, what's the tangent at 0? Right here on the puzzle, I personally would write a 0 right next to it before I even cut this thing out. I would start simplifying these, or you could do it anytime. Then it's going to say things like, okay, what is the tangent at 60? Look up here, y'all. What would be the tangent at 60? What over what? Yeah, the tangent at 60, I love it. Tangent at 60, I heard it, is root 3 over 2 divided by 1/2. Then what happens? Oops, I didn't write root 3 over 2. 1/2. The 2's cancel, and I'm left with what? Root 3. So right next to that, Mr. Shot, right next to that, I don't even remember the question, I would write root 3, or wherever it was, tangent 60. What if they ask you for this? What if they ask for, let's go harder, what is the tangent at 90 degrees? 1 over 0, y over x would be 1 over 0, which is undefined. That undefined is an answer here. So once you solve these, guess what? You got to match up the sides. Okay? So I wish you the best of luck. There are lots of ones. I wish you the best of luck. I hope that this is fun.